Alright, I'm going to show you how to put some equations into point-slope form among other things. Okay. There are three general forms of equations that we use for lines. One is standard form. This is one we looked at before. It's ax plus by equals c, and the a and the b and the c are integers. So that just means mainly that there are no fractions. The a, the number right here, is a positive number, so that we all get the same, so we all get the same form. The other thing technically is that a, b, and c are supposed to not have anything in common. So we say that their greatest common factor is just 1. So we want to have the most reduced form of the equation. So, I mean, for example, if I had 2x plus 2y equals, let's say, 4, that would not really be standard form. What I'd want to do is I'd want to try to reduce that. So I would take out all the 2's, and so I would say x plus y equals 2. This right here would actually be the standard form. This one is it equals the same amount, but it's technically not, the standard form. All right. Slope-intercept form is what we've been working with the last few days. That's y equals mx plus b, and the m, is always the slope, and the b is the y-intercept. Okay. The new one for the day is point-slope form. And this is a really great form of an equation, especially if you just want to write an equation of a line and someone gives you the point and they give you the slope. So that's why they call it point-slope form, because it's really great. When someone gives you the point, you just put it in these two spots, the little x sub 1, y sub 1. And if they give you the slope, then you just put it in that spot and you're pretty much done. You can write an equation in 2 seconds. You don't have to find the whole b business when you do like we do for the slope-intercept form. So let's try an example of that. Example 1. Write an equation in point-slope form that passes through the point with the given slope. So they give us this point. When they give you a point, when you're doing point-slope form, it's like a little x sub 1, y sub 1. So I'll write the general form this first time. So it goes y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. And again, you just put the points, the little x sub 1, y sub 1, you just put them in these two spots. So it should be, final answer is just y minus, and so you put the 1 right here, and then the m is 1, so you just put the 1 right there, and then x minus, and then for the x sub 1, you just put the 4 right there. And that's your equation. It's in point-slope form. You can move things around, which we'll do. We'll try to put it into slope-intercept form or into standard form. But if all you want to do is write an equation of a line, done. It's that quick. You just put the two numbers in there for the x and y, and then you put the slope in. Okay. All right, same exact directions, so I'm going to do the same thing. You're given a point, you're given a slope, so we can write it in point-slope form. So we have a little x sub 1, a little y sub 1. So we're going to write our equation. It would be y minus, whatever the y coordinate is. So y minus, it's 2 equals, and the slope is negative 1/2, and then it's x minus whatever the x coordinate is, so x minus a negative 7. And usually, we won't be thrilled with having a negative like that. So we're going to have y minus 2 equals negative 1/2, and then we'll typically say x plus 7. So this would be a little bit better form, okay, if all we care about is writing an equation of a line in point-slope form. Okay. Now, what else could we do? Well, sometimes they'll give it to you in what looks like pretty much point-slope form, and they say, can you do some manipulating and try to get it into standard form? So you say, sure. So all you have to do is make it look like this, meaning the x is first, then the y, and then equal to the number. So we're going to have to distribute. So we have y plus 2. We're going to distribute the negative 3, so that's going to be negative 3x. Negative 3 times the negative 1, so that's going to be plus 3. And then remember with standard form, you have to, we have to kind of have the x first, and the x, this coefficient here, the number in front of the x needs to be positive, so I might as well just move it all to the left-hand side. Right now it's a negative 3x, so I just want to add it over to the left-hand side. So if I add it, then it's going to be a positive, so it's going to be 3x. And then I'm going to have this y here, which is also positive, so I'm going to say that's a plus y. So let me write kind of what I'm doing. I'm adding 3x to each side. And then I'm also going to get rid of the 2, so I'm going to be subtracting the 2. So I'm going to say minus 2 on each side, minus 2 on each side. So we're going to have 3x plus the y that was already there, and then we're subtracting the 2, so 3 minus the 2, so that's 1. So this right here is standard form. Okay. Notice the a right there. The a is 3. If you want to identify what the a, b, and c are, the a is 3. The b is the number that's in front of the y, so let's say the b is 1. And then the c is the number that's right there. That is the constant. It's called a constant when it doesn't have a letter. Okay, let's try another one. So this one, a little bit harder, but same deal. You distribute, so we get negative 1/3 x. And then when you multiply 1/3 times 6, maybe off to the side you can do it. So you got negative 1/3, and you got that multiplied by negative 6. What will happen is the two negatives will be positive, and then the 3 will cancel with the 6. So it'll be 2. So it's going to be a positive 2. And then we have y minus 1. Now remember, with the standard form, you don't have fractions. So we've got to figure out a way to get rid of that 3 on the bottom. So what you can always do is you can multiply by whatever that number is on the bottom. If that's the only fraction, then you just multiply by whatever that number is on both sides. So we multiply both sides of the equation by 3. That should do the trick. So we multiply by 3. So that'll be 3y, distributing here. 3y minus 3. And then over on the right side, the 3 gets distributed. So it's going to be negative 1x, and then plus 6. That's what we have so far. And then, again, we really want to have the x be first. So we're going to have to move this negative x over, so let's add it. So we add the x over. We're not going to be able to combine it with anything, but it's going to be on the left-hand side now. So it's a positive 1x if you want to put that. Okay. That'll cancel with that one. So we'll have a positive 1x. We'll have a positive 3. Notice there's no sign in front of that, so it's positive. So x plus 3y. That minus 3 needs to move over to the other side. So we're going to add 3. So we add 3 to that side. So we're going to have 6 plus 3, so 9. So this is standard form. Okay? So it's that's a little bit more, involved, where you have to distribute and be okay with moving things around. All right. Now, write each equation in slope-intercept form. So it's entirely possible that we could put something into point-slope form, which is what it looks like right now, and then we might decide we want to put it in slope-intercept form because it's a little bit quicker to graph. Remember how quick it was to graph when it was in slope-intercept form? So we might do that. So we're going to say y plus 4 equals, and we're going to distribute. So that's going to be 4x minus 8. And again, remember slope-intercept form, you want to get the y by itself, and then you want it to look like some quantity here, x plus b. So y equals mx plus b. So we distributed. And then the only other thing is to just move the positive 4 over to the right. So we subtract 4. So we're going to have y equals 4x, and then we're going to have a minus 12. And that'd be your final slope-intercept form. Okay, now, this would be a good question if you say, geez, you said we can write equations, in slope-intercept form, and now we're learning another way to write an equation of a line. Which one's better? Well, it really depends. If you're just going to be graphing, I really like the slope-intercept form. If you just want to write an equation of a line, then a lot of times we just do point-slope form. It works pretty quickly. We use the point slope form, this one here, a lot more in calculus, and a lot of times before calculus we tend to work with slope-intercept form. They're both really valid, and we've got to know them both. All right, so I'm going to go back and review how to find the equation of the line in slope-intercept form when someone gives you the point and the slope. That's the one that we did a lot of today. So we're given a point and a slope. So what we would do is we just start with your y equals mx plus b, and you would plug in all the information. So for the y, we're going to put 6. For the m, we're going to go ahead and put 8. And for the x, we're going to put -4. And for the b, we just don't know what that is, so we're going to try to figure it out. So again, when they give you a point like that, that's your little x sub 1, y sub 1. So we're going to continue here. We're going to find the b. So 6 equals -32 plus b. Solve for b by adding 32 to both sides. So b equals 38. Okay. We already have the slope. They told us the slope was 8, and we just found the y-intercept. So now we can write it. So we have y equals 8x plus 38. There's your equation. All right. Now I'm going to try the same problem, but I'm going to do point-slope method, point-slope form. So I'm going to go y minus whatever the y is, so I would put a 6 there, equals, the slope is 8, and it's going to be x minus a -4. Okay. So we don't like the negative deal, so we would say this would be y minus 6 equals 8, and then it would be actually x plus 4. Now I'm going to go ahead and distribute so I can get rid of the parentheses. So it's going to be y minus 6 equals 8x plus 32. Now let's say I really want this to be in slope-intercept form because I kind of want to compare it to the one on the left here. So I'm going to add the 6. So I add the 6. And I should notice that we're going to have y minus 6. Oh, just kidding. So I would notice that I would lose the 6, so that would cancel out. That would cancel out, and we'd have y all by itself, and it would be 8x, and then 32 plus 6, that would be 38. So we would circle that, and you'll notice exactly the same thing. They're just different ways of going, different ways of getting there. So I think that should do it for us on section 5.5. It'll require some practice, and should be good.